As a young man growing up in the 90s, Star Trek was pivotal in my life. To grow up and watch someone with stubborn pride be vulnerable was a life lesson. To see that being confident, thoughtful, and imaginative wasn't a negative was impactful.
Oh no, I know Hamlet. And what he might say with irony, I say with conviction. What a piece of work is man.
Strong male figures are a dime a dozen in Trek, but I'm not here to talk about them with today's topic, but merely one of the most well-written, well-developed characters in all of Trek, 7 of 9.
Drone's experiences are processed by the collective. Only useful information is retained.
Still, that probably makes you the most intelligent human being alive.
Probably.
So what do you need the rest of us for?
As an impressionable young man, it's easy to see where 7 of 9 would make a statement. 7 of 9, of course, would be played by the highly talented Jeri Ryan. Ryan's appearance on the 4th season of Voyager saw an immediate boost for the show, an estimated 60% viewership. For the layman, it isn't hard to see why, but I also think it's incredibly understating to the character at hand. Despite Voyager's viewership not doing so well, it still promoted some wonderfully written female characters, including Chief of Engineering B'Elanna Torres and the highly underrated Captain Janeway.
The other alternative is, we destroy your ship.
Despite these two previously mentioned characters being so well revered, it was 7 who really made a statement.
I thought that was impossible.
Impossible is a word that humans use far too often.
While nobody will probably ever admit that the actress was brought on for the wrong reasons, the writers made up for it with one of the best written characters in all of Trek. Jeri Ryan had the raw deal of playing an emotionally cold Borg, but did so with the vulnerability and innocence we had seen in characters like Data.
It doesn't explain their interest in the minutiae of the Doctor's life.
Could you please continue the petty bickering? I find it most intriguing.
Not just through the stars, but in oneself.
Just human nature, Data. Human nature, sir.
And 7 was the perfect demonstration of that. At a young age, Annika Hansen was taken, assimilated, and forced into a collective, a life she only knew. Like Data, she would have to adapt to a different life around her, and also find her humanity. Brent Spiner did so brilliantly through layers of makeup, a role nobody will ever forget. Jeri Ryan did it through layers of makeup and a catsuit that put off the wrong image. It's an unfortunate situation, but that didn't stop Miss Ryan from elevating that character to someone you could constantly root for.
I don't expect you to change overnight, but try to remember that we are not just a bunch of drones.
7's journey to discover her humanity was one of the better storylines through all of Voyager. She was intelligent. Her cold demeanor sometimes even made for some witty moments.
There is no one on Deck 9, Section 12 who doesn't know when you're having intimate relations.
You're a woman, 7.
Is that an observation or a diagnosis?
Emergency medical hologram instrumental in the return of Voyager crew. Has a nice ring to it, don't you think?
On the other hand, it is entirely possible that your program will be deleted and you'll be upgraded to conform to the most recent standards.
Of course, she was obviously easy on the eyes, but I think that's extremely limiting to what Jeri Ryan and the writers were doing.
Clearly, Voyager is not yet ready for assimilation. A joke. The Doctor suggested that I diffuse tense situations with humor.
Reports had come out years after the show had ended that Jeri Ryan and Captain Janeway actress Kate Mulgrew didn't get along.
The reaction to her was, oh, we gotta have that kind of sexual, beautiful thing.
Now, it's a completely understandable situation. Janeway had developed into a credible, enjoyable character, but like the ship she led, it was going down a path that needed some help along the way. Ryan had considered the situation a difficult one, but once again, proves the quality of acting by both actresses. Janeway's approach to 7 feels very much motherly.
I can't always be a friend, understand?
No.
Echoing a familiar situation with Picard and Data, constantly guiding him and teaching him life's lessons. The same feels appropriate with Janeway, and what I would consider as one of the better relationships in the show. This also culminates in 7's relationship with the Doctor. The semantics of a hologram teaching humanity to a human was constantly fascinating to me. The writing kept the situation always engaging and fresh, without overdoing it. Once again, the acting was simply phenomenal.
Know, dear, how much I love you. Please don't take my sunshine away.
So, what's the point I'm making here? It might be me putting a tinfoil hat on to say that Jeri Ryan was placed on the show to add some sort of appeal for a heavy male audience.
When they added this character, Paramount, all of Paramount, and their publicity machine was very, very straightforward, and they verbatim said, this is our chance to break Voyager, to break Star Trek into the mainstream media.
It might be true, or it might be disputed, but at the end of the day, the thought that's all she is, or what she ended up being, is offensive to what the character ended up being.
Delta Flyer to Voyager. 2 to beam out.
She could have been that, sure, but the writing elevated the character to being one of the more memorable in all of Trek. The thought was echoed by Jeri Ryan in an interview with the Huffington Post when she said, "I didn't have a problem with Seven's overtly sexual physical appearance, if only because of the way she was written and developed. To go through an experience that she claimed was difficult, dressed in an extremely tight outfit, on a show that was already underway, and to develop into one of the best characters in all of Trek is simply astounding."
You've got a new character being added and somebody leaving. You have all of the attention now shifts to this new character with the press and the media and all of that. Then you've got writers who've been writing for the same, 7 characters, 8 characters, 9 characters, however many there were of us, for 3 years at that point.
A character that is badass.
You have exceeded expectations.
Then expectations were insufficient.
A simple thank you would suffice.
Cold, but vulnerable.
And then I became Borg.
Gorgeous, but intelligent.
You could take the classes with me. Earn your own commission.
I believe I've already assimilated enough Starfleet training.
She's proof that a woman doesn't need to be just one-dimensional. She doesn't need to be just smart. She doesn't need to be just beautiful. She doesn't have to be just badass. She can be who she is, and explore it for that.
Borg, let's do something fun.
Scanned it. That's cheating.
Cheating is often more efficient.
For all of Voyager's faults, they delivered a wonderful set of strong female heroines, and I believe 7 of 9 might just be the best. Hey Tots, thanks for watching. Shout out to these amazing Tots: Mouse Pounder, Ilana September, and LaShawn Johnson for making sure this video is possible. Thanks to all those that support me on Patreon, and all you kind enough to watch right now. I'll see you all in the next video.